They plan, they wait, they think they're in control. But nearly 8 out of 10 serial killers are eventually caught. Not by luck, but because they're up against forces they can't see. Every step leaves a data trail. Every crime creates an economic ripple, and the system is built to use both against them. This is the hidden economics of manhunts. And once you see how it works, you'll never look at crime or control the same way again. 1. The data trail is inevitable. Serial killers often believe they can outsmart the system. Gloves, burner phones, random victims. But in today's world, there's no such thing as invisible. Every action creates data. Every movement leaves a trace. Phone pings, tolls, supermarket loyalty cards, CCTV with facial recognition. All of it can place someone in space and time. The killer thinks in analog terms. DNA, fingerprints, tire tracks. Investigators think in networks. This is the era of data fusion, blending lots of tiny, weak signals into one strong pattern. A phone ping near a victim's house. A deleted rideshare trip still in metadata. A smartwatch spike at 3:14 a.m. Alone, none of these prove anything. Together, they become a digital fingerprint that's almost impossible to erase. And here's the economic angle. These tools are getting cheaper and easier to use. Police don't need a surveillance van, just a subpoena and software. Even smaller departments can map movements, habits, and connections. So even if a killer is careful 99% of the time, that 1% digital slip, a map search, a social post, a smart light turning on, can unravel everything. In the modern world, anonymity isn't rare. It's an illusion. 2. Solving crime is an economic priority. We often think murder investigations are all about justice. But behind every high-profile manhunt, there's another force at play. Economics. When a serial killer is active, the cost to a city or region skyrockets. Fear spreads, tourism drops, business slows, schools and events get disrupted. And that's not even counting the direct costs, overtime for officers, lab work for forensic tests, hours of analyst time, and the public pressure on political leaders to do something. In short, serial killers are bad for business. That's why governments invest heavily in catching them. Solving a serial case isn't just a moral win, it's a financial one. Closing a case restores public trust. It stabilizes the local economy. It prevents future costs tied to panic, misinformation, and misallocated resources. Even media companies have skin in the game. Sensational coverage boosts ratings, but only while there's forward momentum. A solved case is a narrative climax, and so pressure builds from all sides to deliver a resolution. In economics, we'd call this a perverse incentive alignment. For once, everyone's incentives point in the same direction. Catch the killer quickly. That's why serial murder isn't ignored or buried in red tape. It's prioritized. It gets attention, funding, and manpower that most crimes never see. And the result? Most killers don't stand a chance. Not when the entire system is financially motivated to stop them. 3. They overestimate their intelligence and underestimate the system. Many serial killers think they're smarter than everyone else. They plan, they research, they tell themselves they're playing chess while everyone else plays checkers. But most of them aren't criminal masterminds. A lot have average, even below average, intelligence. What they really have is a high tolerance for risk and a compulsion that overrides judgment. That's not genius, that's momentum. This is classic Dunning-Kruger. People with limited ability overrate themselves because they don't know what they don't know. It's the same delusion that makes amateur traders think they've beaten the market right before they blow up. For killers, it shows up as sloppiness over time, revisiting the same areas using similar methods, leaving patterns. Forensic analysts are literally trained to spot. They think they're still ahead, but the system is catching up, with behavioural profiling, geographic clustering, and algorithms that get better with every new data point. Worse, every successful crime boosts their confidence. Like gamblers on a hot streak, they forget the odds are shifting against them. In the end, it's not that they're stupid. It's that they overrate themselves and underrate a system that only has to be patient, not perfect. 4. They fall into the attention trap. There's a pattern that shows up again and again. Sooner or later, they want to be noticed. At first, most serial killers are secretive and controlled. But over time, many start watching their own press, revisiting crime scenes, even contacting police or media. Why? Because in their warped incentive system, attention becomes currency. Being feared, discussed, hunted, but not caught feels like power. And that's the trap. Every message, every clue, every attempt to shape the narrative creates more data. In economics, that's a feedback loop. They escalate to feed the ego. The escalation produces more signals. Those signals raise their risk. BTK Zodiac, the Unabomber. Their communications became evidence. It's not just arrogance, it's a bad incentive calculation. They think the reward, fame, control, legacy, outweighs the risk. But the system is designed to let them talk. Investigators, journalists, profilers all want them to keep sending things in. And once they do, it's often the beginning of the end. In the hidden economy of crime, the moment you seek attention, you start paying for it. 5. Patterns are profitable, and killers create patterns. Serial killers often believe that choosing different victims or locations will keep them anonymous. But ironically, the very thing that defines a serial killer, repetition, is also what brings them down. Each crime is a data point. And as the number of data points increases, the pattern becomes easier to detect. Law enforcement agencies, especially federal ones, now rely heavily on predictive analytics and geospatial clustering. These are the same tools used in marketing, logistics, and even finance. They take behavioural data, map out tendencies to high-profile cases, and predict future outcomes. Here's the economic logic. The more murders committed, the higher the cost. Not just in lives, but in social and financial disruption. So it's economically efficient to stop them early. And detecting a pattern is the key to acting fast. That's why entire divisions now specialise in linkage analysis, connecting crimes across regions and jurisdictions that local departments might miss. They look for consistencies in method, victim type, and time of day. And here's the twist. The more a killer tries to conceal a pattern, the more unusual their behaviour becomes. And that stands out even more. In a world where AI can flag fraud in milliseconds, it's no surprise that similar tech can flag human predators too. So while killers think they're staying ahead, they're actually just feeding the algorithm more clues. 6. Forensic tech is cheaper than ever. In the past, forensic tools were expensive, slow, and limited uses. DNA testing took weeks. Fingerprint analysis required perfect samples, and crime scene reconstructions were largely theoretical. But now, forensic technology has become faster, cheaper, and more scalable. And that changes everything. Take rapid DNA testing. What used to take a full lab and a team of scientists can now be done in under 2 hours using a machine that fits on a desktop. Or genetic genealogy. Once a niche tool, it's now so accessible that detectives are solving 40-year-old cold cases with ancestry databases and public records. There's also a growing private sector behind these tools. Tech companies that partner with law enforcement, offering crime solving as a service. These firms bring capital, AI, and innovation into an industry once limited by red tape and budget constraints. Why does this matter? Because the economic barriers are disappearing. Small-town police departments can now access tools that used to belong only to the FBI. The cost of entry is lower, the turnaround is faster, the precision is higher. And from a killer's perspective, that's terrifying. Because the game isn't fair anymore. They're playing hide and seek in a world where the seeker has night vision goggles, heat maps, and real-time data feeds. The myth of the perfect crime was built in a world where detection was slow and rare. That world is gone, and tech is the new detective. 7. Someone always talks. Because loyalty has a price. Serial killers often think they're operating in complete isolation, but most aren't as alone as they think. They might have partners, friends, roommates, even romantic relationships. And while they may not confess everything, they almost always leave crumbs. Odd behaviour, strange hours, unexplained injuries. It builds up, and someone notices. That's where the economics kick in. In law enforcement, tips from the public, especially people close to the suspect, are incredibly valuable, and agencies know this. They incentivize betrayal, cash rewards, lighter sentences, or even guilt. There's always a reason to talk. You don't need someone to break because of morality. You just need them to calculate the cost of silence. This is known in game theory as a prisoner's dilemma. If someone close to the killer thinks someone else might talk first, their best move is to come forward early and secure the reward. And killers, overconfident as they often are, rarely see it coming. The BTK killer's daughter turned in DNA. The Green River killer was betrayed by a co-worker who noticed inconsistencies. And countless others have been undone by roommates, ex-lovers, even online friends. In a connected world, secrets have a short shelf life. And trust, when tested, usually bends toward self-preservation. So, while serial killers worry about the cops, it's often the people closest to them who seal their fate. 8. Time works against them, always. Most serial killers start out thinking time is on their side. That if they stay patient and careful, they'll stay free. But the economic reality is the opposite. Every extra day they're active raises the chance they get caught. Not slowly, but exponentially. Why? Because each new crime leaves more evidence, pulls more people into the risk zone. Victims, witnesses, bystanders, and gives investigators more data points to connect. It's compounding, but in reverse, every act creates new liabilities. And on the police side, time helps too. The longer a case runs, the more departments share data, the more task forces form, the more cold case tech gets applied. Public attention can even reactivate old leads. Meanwhile, killers get sloppy. Routine makes them overconfident. They repeat locations, they take emotional risks, they think, I've gotten away with it this long. But time is quietly stacking evidence against them. In the economics of crime, time isn't neutral. It's a cost, and it always comes due. 9. The chaos isn't random, it's predictably irrational. Many serial killers believe they can outsmart investigators by being unpredictable. No pattern, no logic, no link. They call it random. But randomness, true randomness, is incredibly hard for humans to fake. Here's the paradox. When killers try to act chaotic, they almost always fall into predictable irrationality. They might switch locations, but always stick to certain driving distances. They might vary victims, but target people who resemble someone in their personal life. They might alter methods, but maintain specific rituals that satisfy psychological compulsions. And here's where the economics come in. Police algorithms love fake randomness. Because it's not truly random, it's bounded by human habits. Limited by fuel costs, time availability, personal fears, and emotional triggers. Think of it like stock market volatility. It looks wild, but underneath is a web of forces. Investor psychology, macro data, even calendar effects. Serial crime works the same way. Investigators use tools like geographic profiling, victimology modeling, and even machine learning to detect these irrational but recurring patterns. The more killers try to conceal motive, the more analysts can isolate what's left. And that absence, that forced randomness, becomes its own signature. Ironically, by trying to be less predictable, they become more unique. In behavioural economics, this is called a bounded rationality loop. A system where decisions are irrational, but still predictable within human constraints. And in the eyes of modern manhunters, that's as good as a trail of breadcrumbs. 10. They're not just fighting police, they're fighting an industry. Serial killers tend to think they're playing a one-on-one game. Them versus the detective. A clever criminal matching wits with a lone investigator, like in some noir film. But that's a fantasy. In reality, they're not just up against a cop, they're up against an entire industry. One that's bigger, faster, and more sophisticated than they can imagine. The modern pursuit of serial offenders is powered by artificial intelligence, private crime analytics firms, genetic genealogy companies, predictive behavioural modelling startups, federally funded databases that aggregate clues across states and decades. And behind all of that, money. Crime solving isn't just a public service, it's a business. The forensics market alone is worth billions globally. Tech firms compete to offer the fastest DNA tools, the most advanced surveillance software, the most predictive AI crime maps. Agencies sign contracts. Vendors upgrade systems. There's a financial incentive to stay ahead. Even platforms like Ring, Google, and Meta indirectly contribute data streams that investigators can tap into. Legally or otherwise. Serial killers? They're lone actors with limited resources, repeating old patterns from the 1970s. The system hunting them? It's global, real-time, and ruthlessly efficient, built by capital, upgraded by competition, and fine-tuned by behavioural science. That's not a fair fight, and it's why most killers don't just fail. They never even understand what beat them. Common misconception: serial killers are criminal masterminds. Movies taught us serial killers are cold, calculating geniuses. Always 10 steps ahead, playing mind games with detectives. Reality is way less cinematic. Most serial killers are not especially intelligent. Criminology data shows many sit in the average, even below average, IQ range. What drives them isn't brilliance, it's compulsion. They don't stop, so eventually the system catches up. The evil genius image, Hannibal Lecter, C. Zodiac mythology, makes for great storytelling, but it hides how modern crime actually works. Today, killers aren't just fighting one detective. They're up against databases, shared forensics, behavioural profiling, even private tech firms. And even the smart ones make terrible decisions because they misjudge the system. They don't understand how much data their life produces. They don't factor in evolving tech. They don't see that every crime gives investigators more to model. So it's not that they're all stupid. It's that the system is bigger, faster, and more connected than the individual. Cinema made them look genius. Data made them predictable. Hardly anyone knows, we only remember the ones who got caught last. Here's a truth that almost never gets talked about. We don't remember most serial killers. We only remember the ones who got caught last. Why? Because the ones who fail early, after their first or second kill, rarely make the news. They don't get documentaries or nicknames. They just get arrested and forgotten. Criminologists call this survivorship bias, a distortion that happens when we focus only on the cases that survived long enough to become visible. It's like studying lottery winners and assuming the system is beatable. You're ignoring the thousands who lost on day one. And the same thing happens with serial killers. The ones who get famous, BTK, Bundy, Zodiac, are the outliers. The exceptions, not the rule. In reality, most serial killers don't get far. Modern data, incentives, and forensic systems catch them quickly. often after just 2 or 3 incidents. So when you think, why did this one get caught? The better question is, how many others never even made it that far? The system always closes in. So next time you hear about a perfect crime, remember, it's never just luck or fate, it's economics. Every motive, every technology, every incentive in the system is quietly working against them. Because once you understand how control really functions, you stop believing in chaos and start seeing design. If this opened your eyes, hit like. It helps this reach more curious minds. And tell me below, what hidden system should we decode next? This is Hidden Economics. Stay curious, stay sharp, decode the system. I'll see you in the next one.